Lyme and severe black mold poisoning. And so I was not working for close to 10 years. And the first
Shalom Harlow was once the queen of the runway, loved by millions for her beauty and grace. But one night changed everything. From her sudden disappearance to the shocking news of a tragic illness, her story took a heartbreaking turn. Join us as we uncover the painful truth behind the fall of this beloved supermodel, the model who vanished after making fashion history. In the high fashion industry, there is no other name that brings to mind drama, beauty, and madness like Alexander McQueen. His fashion shows were not just showcases of clothes, but rather live performances, unpredictable works of art that left a lasting impression. However, even for McQueen, what occurred during his spring-summer collection number 13 was unique, unusual, daring, and awe-inspiring. And at the heart of it all was one woman, Shalom Harlow. The situation began with a phone call. Shalom was in New York when she received the message. McQueen wanted her to be a part of his upcoming show in London, not only to walk the runway, but to make a memorable impact during the show. The only issue was that the show was happening the very next day. Shalom did not waste any time. She quickly packed her belongings and boarded a late-night flight to London. There was no time to relax or prepare for the job. She arrived tired and unsure of what to expect, so she asked the obvious question: what was she supposed to do? McQueen's response was straightforward: trust me. There was no written dialogue or rehearsal for the project. McQueen understood something that others did not. He was aware of Shalom's background and knew she was more than just a model. She had experience as a dancer and could express emotions through movement. He had complete faith in her ability to bring his vision to life. The show started like any other McQueen show: bold, gorgeous, and unique. Models strutted the runway in exquisite, elaborate outfits. The crowd was amazed as usual. But then the atmosphere changed. The lights dimmed and a hush fell over the room. Something unexpected was about to occur. A platform lifted from under the stage with Shalom Harlow standing on it in a plain white dress. The design of the dress was simple and pure, like a blank canvas. Next to her were two large robotic arms, usually found in car factories for painting metal.
I was shown some rotating platform and told I was going to stand on it. Well, I got sprayed in spray paint, and that was the download. That's all the information I got.
It was a confusing and somewhat scary sight. The platform started rotating. Shalom began dancing instead of walking or posing. Suddenly, the robots activated and started spraying her with thick bursts of black and yellow paint. Despite this, she remained unfazed and continued spinning with arms raised, dodging and embracing the paint blasts. It was like a chaotic dance, dangerous yet captivating. Her dress was covered in paint, which also got on her skin and hair. The white fabric changed into a dynamic painting as she moved. Shalom wasn't just being painted on, she was actively painting as well, transforming violence into something graceful. This was all done without any practice or guidance, just pure instinct and rhythm.
There was no rehearsal. I didn't hear the music. I did not know the amount of time, sequence that would be involved. This was purely, spontaneously improvised.
It combined elements of fashion, performance, and emotion seamlessly. When the platform came to a halt, the white dress had disappeared and was now replaced with a colorful masterpiece that was full of significance. The crowd stood up and some were crying while others were in shock at the incredible sight. McQueen had once again achieved the impossible with his design. Shalom Harlow had transformed into a living piece of art. That moment became a memorable part of fashion history. Critics consider it to be one of the best runway scenes ever. Many have tried to imitate it, but none have been able to capture its essence. The reason it stood out was because of its spontaneity, boldness, and authenticity. However, for Shalom, that time was not the end. It was a notable moment, and also a moment of change. Later in 2012, she ended Alexander Wang's fall show, coming back on the runway with grace and strength. But then she vanished. She wasn't making any posts, appearing publicly, or making announcements. This raised questions since she had been a prominent figure in her industry for more than 20 years. People started wondering if she had retired, found a new path, or if something was wrong. In private, Shalom was battling a fierce battle that was even more intense than the one she performed on McQueen's stage. It all started with unusual symptoms like chronic fatigue, unexplained aches, and mysterious pain. Initially, doctors did not take it seriously. However, it progressively worsened. In the end, the truth was revealed. Shalom was diagnosed with advanced Lyme disease. Her health was deteriorating rapidly. To make matters worse, she found out that her house, which she thought was a safe haven, was contaminated with black mold. Unknowingly, she had been exposed to toxins in her home. Her immune system failed. Her nervous system malfunctioned. Simple tasks like getting out of bed became extremely difficult. She was not just fatigued. She was completely devastated. No one could find a solution to help her recover. This wasn't just a minor health concern, it turned into an endless nightmare. Shalom struggled for years in secret, unable to work, travel, or speak up. While the world and fashion industry continued to progress, she felt stuck in a body that wasn't on her side. Over time, the experience of being very ill and feeling completely lost led to a more profound type of trauma known as complex PTSD. This kind of trauma doesn't stem from a single event, but from the ongoing burden of suffering, despair, and neglect. She said it made her feel like she had been left behind and abandoned. Shalom lived in isolation for 6 years. During that time, she kept to herself and struggled to survive. While people wondered about her whereabouts, she was secluded in a dimly lit room, focusing on staying alive. She wasn't sharing photos of herself or attending social events. Instead, she was simply trying to breathe, eat, and get through each day. Before we go any further, let's uncover how Shalom found the strength to survive the dark side of fame, the friendship that changed fashion forever. In the modeling world, friendships can be fleeting due to the intense spotlight, pressure, and competition. However, Shalom Harlow and Amber Valletta's friendship stood out as they found a deeper connection beyond fame and rivalry. Their bond made them more than just pretty faces on the runway. They became a symbol of true friendship in an industry known for lacking it. It started when Shalom and Amber were new to the modeling world. Instead of competing, they became good friends right away. They were genuine with each other without any jealousy or pretending. They did not act like the stereotypical models, but rather supported and stood by each other. They even came up with a nickname for themselves, Shalomber, which became their signature. In the 1990s, nicknames like Shalomber—
It is. It's Shalamber. That's what we call ourselves. We started calling ourselves that then. Shalom and Amber
were popular. However, what made them stand out was not just the name, but the strong bond between them. Photographers and designers quickly saw this special connection. There was a genuine chemistry between them, a happiness that couldn't be faked. When one of them was hired for a job, the other was often requested as well. They shared laughs, posed together, and brought a fresh energy to fashion shoots. It was clear that they were not just going through the motions, but truly enjoying themselves. In 1996, MTV's House of Style was in need of new hosts. The perfect choice was Shalom and Amber, who were changing the definition of a model. They brought confidence and charm to the show. Instead of dressing up in fancy gowns, they wore band t-shirts and joked around. They discussed real issues and were relatable, funny, and truthful. People did not just like them for their appearance, but also for their personalities.
For a Vogue cover, they would do cover tries, and we would be booked to do a day of just strictly cover shoot pictures, and you would shoot 2 or 3 possible cover tries.
On the set, Shalom did not have to pretend to be someone else. The producers allowed her to just be herself because she was naturally charming. She did not have to follow a script, she just had to be genuine. Amber was similar in this way. When they worked together, they brought a fresh and exciting energy to the fashion industry, showing that models could also be intelligent, friendly, and relatable. Over 3 decades later, Shalomber's friendship remains strong. They affectionately refer to each other as twisted sisters and continue to support one another, laughing together like they did in the 1990s. In a society where friendships often come and go quickly, theirs has endured the passage of time. Despite her fame, Shalom managed to keep her life very private. Could this be because of the nature of her romantic relationship? Romantic relationships. Shalom Harlow, known as one of the most elegant and artistic supermodels of her time, has always been unique due to her beauty and the mysterious aura she carries. Unlike many celebrities who share their personal lives openly, Shalom preferred a more private lifestyle, avoiding drama and seeking less attention in the spotlight. Despite her efforts to keep her relationships private, a few romantic stories have surfaced over the years, leaving fans intrigued about the woman beyond the glamorous images captured on camera. In the mid-1990s, when Shalom was becoming famous, there were rumors of her dating Leonardo DiCaprio. They were both young and successful at the time. Their connection only lasted about a week, but it got a lot of people talking. They were both talented and attractive on the path to stardom. Although their relationship did not continue, it was a memorable moment for fans. Their brief time together did not have any big drama, but it was exciting to see 2 up-and-coming stars together, even if just temporarily. A couple of years later, Shalom began a more significant relationship with photographer Terry Richardson that lasted from approximately 1999 to 2003. During this time, Shalom was already well known in the fashion industry for her grace and charisma. The pair shared a creative connection, as Richardson was also heavily connected to the fashion scene. Their relationship was kept private, with minimal information being shared with the public. When their relationship ended, it happened quietly without any scandals or drama.
I was a young bride-to-be that was about to step into her wedding dress, and the innocence of that moment and that precious passage, it was shocking to me when I heard the news.
It was simply another chapter in Shalom's life, coming to a peaceful close. Apart from these more famous connections, there were rumors about several others. A British model named James Gooding was said to have been one of her previous lovers. Then in 2001, there was talk of her being involved with the American actor Peter Sarsgaard. Not much information was shared about their relationship, but there seemed to be a connection. Those who closely followed Shalom during that time may have seen them together at an event or in a photo, but she rarely spoke about it. She preferred to keep her personal life private, even though she was constantly in the public eye. Johnny Xander had a quiet connection to Shalom. Their relationship was not a big focus, and they kept it low-key. Unlike other celebrities, there were no big stories or interviews about their love. Shalom has always kept her personal life private and prefers peace over attention. While other models might use their relationships to stay in the spotlight, Shalom does the opposite. She lets her talent do the talking and keeps her romantic life out of the public eye. Over the years, fans were curious to learn more about Shalom's personal life. They wondered if she was married, dating someone in secret, or had a long-term partner hidden from the public eye. However, there was no verified information available. As of 2025, Shalom is still single, at least in the public eye. There is no evidence of her being married, having children, or being in a current public relationship. She continues to live a serene and private life, embodying the calm spirit that fans have always appreciated. But how was Shalom able to make a historic comeback after facing such an illness? The comeback that danced through fire. Milan Fashion Week is known for being the center of glamour, style, and innovation. During the spring of 2019, the backstage at the Versace show was filled with tension. Assistants were running around in a frenzy, models were getting sewn into gowns last minute, and makeup artists were working quickly to create beautiful looks. Donatella Versace was also there, putting final touches on everything. Despite the chaos of noise, heat, and mess, it's all part of the fashion world. However, something felt unique about that night. A sense of anticipation and excitement in the air. At the start of the fashion show, the runway shines brightly with golden lights. The models come out one by one, showcasing the distinctive Versace style with vibrant colors, form-fitting designs, and a sense of boldness. The audience is visibly pleased with the collection. The show is impressive, but many people in the audience are weary as Milan's busy fashion week is halfway over. However, there is a noticeable change in the atmosphere. The lights dim a little, the music also changes. Finally, one more model walks onto the runway. It's Shalom Harlow. This person is named Shalom Harlow. She moves gracefully and powerfully, capturing the attention of everyone in the room. She wears a sleek black dress that is simple yet eye-catching, standing tall and confident with her focus straight ahead. Her walk is steady and authoritative, making a powerful entrance akin to a silent storm. The struggles and challenges of the past 6 years seem to fade away as she moves through the room. Some in the audience feel like they are transported back in time, while others are seeing her for the first time. However, everyone recognizes one thing: Shalom has returned. The room bursts with excitement. There are cheers, clapping, and some people even crying. Not just wiping tears with a handkerchief, but showing real, intense emotions. People rise to their feet, moved by the moment. This is more than just the end of a fashion show. It's a comeback. A woman who had faded from public view and faced personal struggles is now back, shining under the same spotlights that used to showcase her, and she is confidently embracing every moment. The most emotional moment happened after the fashion show. Donatella had her team record Shalom while she was on a campaign shoot.
Donatella for Versace, I walked the runway, and then I did this ad campaign afterwards with Steven. And this was when I first understood the power of the internet. This is the video that broke the internet that week. I was just doing what I do on set and moving the way that I...
In the video, Shalom is not standing still for photos. Instead, she's dancing, spinning, and laughing. The dress moves with her, but it's her expression that stands out. There's no planned actions or instructions, just natural movement. It wasn't a professional model posing, but rather a survivor enjoying the moment. The video spread quickly on Instagram because it resonated with many people. It wasn't popular because it looked professional or trendy, but because viewers could feel the genuine emotions of joy, freedom, and passion from the woman in the video. People did not just see her physical beauty, they saw a survivor who had overcome struggles and emerged stronger. The years of suffering were evident in her laughter, and the resilience she showed was clear in every move she made. The girl who used to prefer tap dancing over ballet because she enjoyed the noise it made is now living her fullest life, a life that she has taken back for herself. In 2023, Shalom was featured on the cover of Vogue for the second time. This time, it was not for a nostalgic look back or a tribute to the 90s. It was the May issue honoring Karl Lagerfeld, where she stood among younger models despite being 50 years old. She not only looked beautiful, but also strong. She wasn't there to represent the past, but to show her influence and impact in the fashion world. Shalom's return is not fueled by a longing for the past. She's not chasing fame or others' approval. She operates on her terms and carefully selects her projects. She values her current presence in the industry. Despite overcoming illness and years of silence, her biggest achievement is simply being healthy enough to work. For her, success is now defined by being able to wake up, go to the studio, and do what she loves with a strong body. In an industry that always focuses on what is new, Shalom is a unique presence. Young models watch her runway videos closely for inspiration. Fashion students even write full papers about her unforgettable McQueen show. Designers who were born after she started her career now dream of working with her. Her impact can be felt over many years and among different age groups. When she does make an appearance, it becomes a special and memorable occasion. Instead of just observing, people truly experience what they see. Her friendship with Amber Valletta has remained strong throughout everything. They have been close for over 30 years in a fast-paced world. They were featured on a Vogue cover in 2023, showing genuine love and happiness. When Shalom was ill, Amber was one of the few who was aware. Their bond is solid, genuine, and uncommon. Shalom's story is still in progress. She is no longer following the traditional ways of the fashion world. Instead, she is changing them. She continues to move forward, keep busy, and grow. The girl who once dreamed of being an astronaut did not leave Earth, but she achieved success beyond what a rocket could reach. She faced fame, endured times of quiet, battled illness, and emerged not only unharmed, but thriving. To truly understand the depth of this victory, we need to look back at where it all began. You might be surprised to learn that Shalom's life was far from what you'd expect of a model. The supermodel who did not fit in. In a quiet area of Oshawa, Ontario, away from flashy things or publicity, a baby girl named Shalom was born. Her name, which means peace in Hebrew, was chosen by her parents, who led an unconventional lifestyle. They were hippies who raised their children in a peaceful community near Toronto. Shalom's mother, Sandy, spent her days assisting adults with disabilities. Her father, David, moved between different jobs. Their home was not filled with popular magazines or TV shows about fashion. Instead, it was a place where creativity thrived, where beliefs were simple, and where living gently was the only rule. Shalom was not a typical child in a vibrant environment of tie-dye, vegetarian food, and open-mindedness. Instead of playing with dolls like other girls, she aspired to be an astronaut. Her dream was to float through space and gaze at Earth from above, rather than becoming a model or actress. However, even those who have big dreams need a way to express themselves. Her parents signed her up for ballet lessons in order to provide her with structure and discipline. However, she found that the strict and elegant world of ballet was not a good fit for her. She thought that ballet had too many rules, so she decided to quit. Instead, she chose tap dancing because she was attracted to the sound it made. She enjoyed the loud and joyful noise her feet made. She wasn't focused on being flawless, but rather on expressing herself. She later tried jazz classes, where she explored different types of movement, except for those that required her to remain silent. She and her two younger brothers lived a simple life at home, without fast food or glossy magazines. Instead, they had homemade meals and focused on nature and peace over fame and fortune. Shalom, a tall girl with dreams and rhythm, was raised this way. This lifestyle can either deeply root a person or make them want to run far away when they grow up. In Shalom's case, it did both. The pivotal moment came in 1990 when Shalom was 16 years old. She attended a live concert by The Cure, surrounded by music, lights, and youthful energy. She did not go to be noticed, but to have a good time. However, a scout approached her, intrigued by her height and striking appearance. This encounter altered the course of her life. The idea of modeling hadn't crossed her mind before, but something within her urged her to say yes. And then, the dream of traveling to space was forgotten, and a new opportunity presented itself. How Shalom Harlow broke every rule. In 1990, fashion had a very clear picture of what a model should look like. Bold, blonde, curvy, and perfect. Shalom did not fit that mold. She had dark hair, a thoughtful face, and a quiet intensity. She did not shine with flash, but with feeling. She looked like she belonged in a band, not on a billboard. At first, she confused the fashion world. She wasn't commercial enough, wasn't catalog material, but what some saw as odd, others saw as magic. Within a year of being discovered, she was booking real jobs. In 1993, she landed her first magazine cover, Fashion Magazine in Canada. It was a small step, but a big start. She hadn't gone to modeling school. She hadn't practiced in front of mirrors for years. She just had something rare: presence. Designers did not just see a girl who wore clothes well. They saw someone who transformed them. By the mid-1990s, Shalom wasn't just working for big brands, she was closing shows. One of the most powerful names in fashion, Gianni Versace, took notice. He did not just hire her, he believed in her. When she walked for him, she became part of the story he was telling. What made her different wasn't just her look, it was how she moved. Every step, every glance, every pause had meaning. She wasn't simply walking, she was performing. That same girl who once made music with her feet on the tap floor now turned every runway into a stage. And in spring 1997, she had a moment most models only dream about. During the finale of the Versace Atelier show, the crowd waited for the final bow. Out came the models one by one. But then something special happened. Shalom appeared, arm in arm with Gianni Versace himself. It was more than a fashion moment. It was history. The designer and the muse, the creator and the art, the girl from a commune walking beside one of the greatest fashion minds in the world. Cameras flashed, editors gasped, everyone understood. This was no ordinary model. In 1995, the world made it official. Shalom won the first ever VH1's Vogue Model of the Year award, beating every other supermodel of that time. It was the highest honor in the industry, and it went to the girl who once wanted to be an astronaut, a girl who grew up eating sprouts and dreaming of stars, a girl who never chased fashion, but let it find her. Shalom Harlow did not become a supermodel the usual way. She did not follow trends, she did not fit molds. She made her way, loudly, gently, and completely on her terms. And fashion, as loud as it could be, listened. However, Shalom's life in the spotlight wasn't as glamorous as many believed. How did she manage to avoid the darker side of fame? Keep watching to find out. The supermodel who escaped the drama. Shalom Harlow stayed away from the drama that often surrounds the competitive and gossip-filled industry she works in. While others in her field were often involved in scandals and feuds, Shalom remained unaffected. She was known for her calm demeanor and skill at keeping her personal and work life free from public conflict. During Shalom's modeling career peak, there was a rumor involving another supermodel, Amber Valletta. In the competitive fashion industry, when two top models gain popularity at the same time, people tend to assume there is tension between them. There were whispers that Shalom and Amber had a dispute during a runway show in the mid-1990s. The specific show was Todd Oldham's Spring 1995 presentation. However, Shalom clarified that there was no truth to the rumors. She calmly denied any conflict and chose not to contribute to the gossip. The incident passed without much attention, and the fashion world moved on. This was one of the rare occasions that Shalom's name was connected to any sort of disagreement. Shalom managed to avoid getting caught up in scandals or controversies, maintaining a strong reputation. Even if her name was linked to any controversy, it usually involved the art she was a part of rather than her actions. One example is when a fashion photo of Shalom in a 1995 issue of Vogue caused some controversy due to its revealing nature.
All these Vogues off of the supermarket stands in the South because there's one photograph of me from the side. You can see a little bit of side boob, and that was scandalous.
However, the focus was on the magazine and the photographer's choices, not on Shalom herself. She handled her role as a model with grace and elegance, keeping her personal image untarnished. Not everything was easy for her during her journey. Even though she avoided scandals, she eventually spoke out about the pressures she faced behind the scenes. While modeling may seem glamorous from the outside, traveling the world, wearing designer clothes, and being featured in famous magazines, the reality can be very different. Shalom shared that in the early days of her career, she was pushed to her limits. She worked long hours, often without proper breaks. She felt unable to voice her concerns when things were not right. There was no one to defend her rights or ensure her well-being. At that time, support systems like the Model Alliance were non-existent. This group now assists models in speaking up and looking after themselves in the fashion industry. Shalom did not point fingers at anyone. She simply spoke truthfully about her difficult experiences. just like many others do. What set her story apart was how she handled her pain. Instead of reacting angrily or seeking attention by calling out others, she chose to wait until the right moment to share her story, using it to shed light on the challenges still faced in the industry. She discussed the difficulty of managing serious health issues while maintaining the appearance of a flawless model. Even when she was hurting inside, she felt compelled to appear strong. This burden wasn't a scandal, but a private battle that influenced her path. Today, when you hear the name Shalom, you think of beauty and grace, not drama or controversy. She navigated a noisy world without getting caught up in it. She displayed quiet strength while others were drawn to rumors and headlines. She remained focused on her goals, role modeling with her heart and protecting her peace. She proved that success doesn't have to involve chaos, standing out in a world that values loudness by choosing calmness. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.